Hello. Hello. Make yourself comfortable. Grab a cup of tea. We are going to start shortly. Just checking in, saying hi. This is 3 things you can do right now to calm a noisy negative mind. We are going to talk really useful, active steps this evening. So welcome. I'm really thrilled you are here. I am your hostess, Nicole Matheson, and I'm going to talk you through the 3 things you can do right now to calm that noisy negative mind. And the very fact that you are here makes me think that you know what I'm talking about. You know this crazy, toxic, downward negative spiral that we can go on, when we get stuck in our heads. And it can be really icky. It can feel awful. And you can feel lost in there. So I think it's a really good idea for us to discuss how we can actually take steps to break that downward cycle, get out of that spiral, and find calm. Because there's too many triggers. So I've got some visuals that I want to share with you tonight. I'm going to pop on over there and start sharing. I'll be back to say hello face to face a little bit later. So just bear with me 2 seconds while I grab my screen. There we go. So here we are. It feels like it's an irky, rainy day. You are feeling despair. You're stuck in your head. There are so many triggers. What sort of triggers get you really stuck in your head? You know, that voice that will not stop, won't stop thinking, it's going over everything. One of the examples that I kind of thought triggered, that we could all relate to was, maybe a text or a message from someone, maybe our spouse or a family member or a friend. And it's a little bit unclear what it actually means, but you might just get a message saying, we need to talk. And your head will absolutely take this to mean something. And you don't actually know what this is about yet, but your head can make it into something huge. Before you know it, you are in this crazy negative headspace. It doesn't feel very nice. You don't really have anything to go on. So your head is just scanning around, trying to go over everything you have said or done in the past to see if there's something that you might have done that is going to offend. It's really an awful feeling. And look, because we are human, we feel this, even way back in caveman times. Now, I'm actually going to share with you some of my really funky artwork tonight. So I just want you to imagine I'm a famous artist and I can get away with this level of funkiness. But this picture really was to illustrate how it feels. It feels like you are stuck in a storm cloud. Your heart is racing. You feel tight and anxious and sick to your stomach. And your head, your ego is in overdrive. It is just criticizing, saying to you, you should have done this. If only you'd done that. You've totally stuffed up. What are you doing? And you really feel awful. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Just gonna check that everything's working okay just now. So I'm just pausing for a second. I'm going to check my screen. So just bear with me. Yes, here we go. Okay, that's working. Wonderful. All right. So screen share. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. All right, I'm back for a sec. Hi. So yeah, we have some really beautiful artwork tonight. I hope you are thoroughly enjoying the quality of this artwork. Here we go. We're back to this picture. I actually want to share with you my experience just on the weekend. This happened to me. I was totally triggered. My husband said something that I just totally took the wrong way. Like, it was to do with me going off and doing yoga early in the morning and leaving the family. And he was like, oh, honey, why don't you stay with me and do yoga with me? And I was just like, how dare you? In my head, I was outraged. And it wasn't actually about that moment at all, you know, and this is what our heads do. It was about 15 years of him going off and playing sport. And in particular, those years when I was a new mother, left at home with young babies, feeling like I couldn't escape. And I just really got triggered and my head just went into overdrive, and I could feel myself on this downward spiral of resentment and negativity and stress. So I actually had to take a very heavy dose of my own medicine. Isn't it a beautiful thing how the universe offers us opportunities to practice this all the time? And, you know, right before I'm about to present a webinar on this, perfect timing. So I actually really got to put this all into practice. So, but I was feeling like this. I was down in the dumps. I had all the evidence kind of banking up and my stories going through my head, and I was really getting angrier and angry. And I you know, I found myself in this awful place. You know, and it really felt like either I'd stuffed up or he'd stuffed up or he should have said sorry. And I just thought I'd chuck this quote in, which is my next slide, by Jack Cornfield. This quote: we are always making mistakes. That is to say, one circumstance to learn from after another. That is life. So whether you're triggered and you feel like you've totally stuffed something up, or someone else has, or you're just feeling really cranky like I was, I want you to see this as an opportunity. Which brings us to our next slide, because the next slide is about opportunity. You know, a light bulb moment is usually symbolic of having an idea or some inspiration. But I'm actually putting it here, you to wake up in this feeling of crapness. You have to wake up in this downward spiral. And that waking up is a light bulb moment. In fact, this waking up and seeing and feeling yourself in this negativity is the most important thing. Without this waking up moment, there is no way that you can shift out of it. There is no change possible. You know, you could find yourself in it for weeks, days, hours before you realize what is happening. So this is the most important moment of all. And actually realizing that things feel uncomfortable and crappy is a really powerful thing, because all change starts with chaos, with a moment of chaos. You know, and in my line of work, I call my clients in their moments of breakdown. I want clients who are feeling like they are at rock bottom. They're on the bathroom floor on their knees, praying to God or universe or whoever, because these are the clients who are ready to do what it takes to make the change, to start looking within rather than looking out there for something new. So this is the most important moment of all. It doesn't feel good. And the reason it doesn't feel good is because you are here. You're at the bottom of the loop. So it feels even worse when you wake up because you realize where you are. But the thing is that life and energy do not flow in straight lines. We are spiraling towards our potential. We are magnetized towards it, but we spiral towards it in order to gather wisdom along the way. So this crappy feeling, this being down the bottom of the spiral here, is a good crappiness because things have to change. You are not going to keep going like this in this headspace or living life that way. Okay, this little picture, I was trying to draw a dog that just was really adamantly not going to let go. I hope that you get a sense of that with my drawing. You know how sometimes dogs are just like really good at playing tug and they are not going to let go? Well, that's this. And sometimes we are a bit like that when it comes to the wallowing and the self-pity. We're like a dog that doesn't want to give up. We don't want to let go. And I kind of see that there are two main reasons why we don't want to let go. Reason number one is that in this wallowing, in this negative head spiral, your ego is happy. Your ego is all about wanting to be in control, wanting certainty, and wanting to fit in. Okay? And this story, evidence searching, scrolling through the past, this is your ego actively in control. It's on task. It knows what to do, knows how to do it, and it's crazily going about its business. I don't know if this feels true for you, but I'm just going to invite you to take a moment and a breath in and just feel if there's a little tinkling of recognition here that your ego is kind of not wanting to let go of this because it's happy. What do you think? Does that feel true for you? Okay. Please feel free to send chat messages. The chat box is just below. I'll check in every so often. Now this picture, this is basically what I'm talking about. Your ego is the little red, little red face there with a smile. It's happy. It's going, woohoo! Everything's great. I'm totally active, doing my thing. I know what to do. I'm on task. I'm being vigilant. Tick, 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 tick. But you are feeling awful. And that's the thing about the ego. The ego does not make you feel good. And when I'm talking ego, I'm also talking about what I call the head, the part of you that is head consciousness. It's very much the same thing as the ego. Your head consciousness does not have the capacity to make you feel good. It is all about fitting in, keeping you safe, but not feeling good. It doesn't give a crap how you feel. It doesn't actually have the capacity to care how you feel because that's not its job description. This is all about fitting in, but to be quite honest, fitting in doesn't make you feel good either. Fitting in essence, means changing the essence of who you are in order to meet someone there or to please someone or to be someone for someone else. Fitting in is all about looking outside in order to be someone rather than looking within. And there are varying degrees of fitting in that we have to do in our lives, and that's fine, but it doesn't make us feel good. There's a fine balance between, getting on in society and being true to yourself. And I've got this quote here from Stephen H. Buhner, who wrote the book, The Secret Teaching of Plants. He says, though the brain is important, it is merely an organic computer, useful for processing data and acting as a clearing station for central nervous system functioning. Unlike the heart, with its connected empathic perceptions, the brain has no inherent moral nature. So isn't that interesting? The brain has no inherent moral nature. It doesn't have the capacity to make you feel good, in other words. Okay, the second reason that you don't want to let go of this wallowing or this head spiral, this negativity, is that there is a need. There is a part of you, perhaps a young inner child part of you, that feels that in this wallowing, there is an opportunity to connect within. So this is the thread that we are going to follow in the three things that you can do in order to get some calm. So what are the three things that I can do right now to get calm? Please tell me. So I'm not going to tell you that you need to get busy, you need to ignore what's going on, you need to just suppress it. I'm not going to tell you that you need to solve this problem, work it all out, keep thinking, because there is no calm there. I'm going to tell you that this frustration, this negativity that you have caught yourself in is an opportunity. It's a beautiful opportunity to connect within. It's an opportunity for love. So the first thing that you can do to move towards calm, in and out. I'm talking about breathing. The first thing to do is to breathe. Breathing changes state. So, there's a reason that the yoga and the meditation and the mindfulness courses all talk about breathing, as one of the very first things. And one of the things that they always tell us, don't they, is that we need to focus and count or bring our attention onto how it feels, to feel our mental capacity up, focusing, which helps us to slow the activity of thinking. So the first thing we need to do is try to deactivate the thinking part of ourselves, that head consciousness, that ego part of ourselves. And breathing does that. Breathing helps us change state and shift into a more perceptive, sensing state of being, which brings us into our heart. So something like breathing in for a count of 3 or 4, and you can breathe in to your lower abdominal for 2, and then your heart space for 2, and then hold it for 2, and then breathe out of the heart space for 2 and out of the belly for 2. So let's try this. Let's breathe in to the abdomen for 2, to the chest for 2, hold it for 2, breathe out of the chest for 2, and out of the belly for 2, and hold it out for 2. So anything like that, where it actually takes quite a lot of focus for you to maintain that breath, is going to really help change state. It's going to get you out of your crazy head. I really like the breath where we focus on the heart as the center, and it's as though we are breathing in and out directly from the heart. So breathing into the heart for 3 and out of the heart for 3. And the HeartMath Institute actually say that just 2 minutes of breathing in and out of the heart like that, and focusing on, the breath being kind of like love. So drawing in love, breathing out love, is enough to actually put you into a state of coherence. And that is the state where we start functioning optimally, rather than our head and our thinking consciousness running us with stress. Our heart actually starts setting the tone for the body, and it puts us into a state of optimal well-being. Our digestive function starts working well, our immune system. We're not running on cortisol and adrenaline. We're actually running on a sense that we're okay, which is one of the main benefits of the heart. So breathing, even just for a couple of minutes, really powerful. So that is the first thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do is ask yourself, how do I feel? And acknowledge the feeling, of course. Now you might think, yeah, I know this, and I've tried this, and I've done this, and yeah, of course, I know it. It's really easy. But I actually want to deepen your experience with this now. It sounds easy, but I don't want you to be lazy with this step. This is actually really powerful and can really deepen your connection with yourself and your power to be really liberated when it comes to feelings. So instead of just going, oh yeah, well, I've had a stressful text, therefore I feel stressed. I don't want you to presume anything. I don't want you to box anything. I want you to actually use your powers of perception and your feeling senses to scan. So this actually starts to activate the heart again and deactivate that thinking part of yourself that actually leads you into your story. So bringing your hands onto your heart, let's try this. Let's just feel in to your body. How do I feel right now? Using, your physical body, scanning around all the way from your feet, up your legs, your abdomen, your torso, your arms, your shoulders, just noticing, looking out for anything that feels either really delicious and lovely or anything that feels tight and tense. Scanning up your neck, into your mind, to your face, into your eyes, into your mouth. I often notice that the more detail your scan has, so if you start going, okay, I'm going to scan my tongue and the back of my tongue and the back of my nostrils, it actually starts breaking away from, I don't know, some default scan that you've done 100 times before, and your sensory perceptual capacity kind of increases. It seems to work like that. So you're just really feeling around now, and you can feel not only your physical body, but your energetic body. How's your energy feel? Does it feel light or heavy? You scan around. Does it feel stuck anywhere? And you can move on to your emotions as well. How's your heart feel here? And instead of just, again, just boxing it, get beyond the label. You might label it. You might go, I feel anxious. But then I want you to actually go into that. What's the anxiety feel like? Is it electricity? Is it heaviness? Is it like a fog, or is it like something solid, like metal? Is it bright? Is it sharp? Is it dull? Really get creative. Create a visual picture. Really ask yourself how you feel. How do you feel? Your heart is activated by the act of feeling, not by the feeling good or the feeling bad. That is irrelevant. It's the act of feeling. So doing this activity actually starts up, revs up the engine. That is your heart and all the power that you have available to you all the time if you rev up that engine. So you might have got that nasty text or that I'm not sure quite what this means text. You might have gone into a downward spiral. But instead of staying in that downward spiral and emerging a week later, you've realized you feel really crap and you want to do something about it. So you've spent some time just focusing on your breath. You've then come in and asked yourself how to feel. Step 2. Now, step 3, the third thing to do is ask yourself, how do I comfort myself? How do I comfort myself? This is where it gets really powerful, because you're going to get kind and loving to yourself. So I am going to ask you now to grab your journal and your pen, and I'm going to ask you to write down how you comfort yourself. How do you comfort yourself? And you might be saying to yourself, I'm not very good at this. I don't really do anything. And that's fine. But I actually think you do comfort yourself. You comfort yourself. You might that you don't think are, or good enough, but you do comfort yourself. You get really clear on what you do to comfort yourself. So write them down. Feel free to pop into the chat box and share with me if you have some really groovy ideas about how you comfort yourself. Because this is the moment when we're actually connecting with that inner child, the inner child that we were talking about that didn't want to let go of the wallowing. This is where we start to do some actually deeper healing. This is where you're catching yourself in a negative spiral becomes a healing opportunity. Not only do you get to find some calm in this moment, but you actually become more. You become more free and healed and capable. And you're building your trust muscle, your belief in your own capacity to be there for yourself. So how do you comfort yourself? And another question I'd like you to ask right now is, what does your heart want to hear right now? What does your heart want to hear right now? Now, obviously, this will be different if you are actually nurturing yourself in the bottom of a loop, negative downward spiral, to what it is, right now, where we're just actually running through this on a sort of training, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same stuff. What does your heart want to hear right now? If I tune in, what does my heart want to hear right now? My heart wants to hear that I am amazing. That's what it wants to hear. I am not making this up. This is for real. My heart wants to hear the words from me to it that I am amazing. I'm amazing. You're amazing. So I'm going to offer those words to my heart. What does your heart want to hear? Yeah. It's actually really powerful when you ask your heart what it wants to hear. So, so those are the 3 steps, basically. The first thing that you can do to break out of this negative downward toxic spiral that we all find ourselves in far too often. Well, the very first thing to do is to have an wake up moment. Without that wake up moment, you are in it. You are so far in it, you have no awareness of it, and there is nothing that you can do. So even though that wake up moment feels awful, is the best thing ever, because it is that wake up moment that allows you the opportunity, the option to change state. So the first thing you can do to change state is to breathe. Focus on your breath. Really breathing that takes your attention away from the thinking. It's breathing with counting, breathing with awareness, breathing with attention. The second thing that you can do, and these are progressive. I wouldn't do them in the other order. Do them first the breathing, then the scanning, the feeling, the perceiving with your heart. Not thinking about it, but perceiving how you actually feel. Not being lazy, not boxing this, but actually feeling, actually using your heart, your scanning, perceiving, feeling, sensing organ to check in and acknowledge the feeling. All right, so you're activating your heart again there. The third thing you can do right now is comfort yourself. So we're asking, how do you comfort yourself? What does your heart want to hear? And how do you comfort yourself? So it's really important to comfort yourself. Sometimes I find we don't really know how to do this. We've not really been modeled self-comfort. We've not really been shown how to do this by our parents. That generation were all about shoving things under the carpet and plastering on a happy face. So, you know, we're breaking new ground with this. And it's important to just realize that because we're breaking new ground, initially, this is going to feel a bit silly, and your head is going to be saying, can't comfort yourself. Comfort is something you have to get from somebody else. This is bullshit. You know, that's what your head will be saying. But that is just because it's unfamiliar. You need to do this for a little time so that you can get beyond the unfamiliar with it. Okay, so comforting yourself, I believe, is the secret to well-being. It is the secret to a happy heart. And I'm just going to go back. I've got some more piggies to show you. Here we go. Look at this. This is a beautiful ocean. And sometimes, you know, life can feel a bit wild, like a wild ocean, like waves bashing you around. It can be a bit rough. And when you don't offer yourself comfort, you are just getting tossed around in the waves. It's just a metaphor, obviously, but it's true. It's like if someone says something and it upsets you and you don't have an option to self-comfort, like to explore that deeper, to be loving and kind, to offer nurture to that, you are just going to be tossed around in the emotional wildness, the cyclone of it all. Whereas if you have the capacity, the model, the option, the tool in your toolkit to offer yourself comfort, you become like this happy dolphin here, riding the waves, playing with the waves, using the waves as an opportunity to explore. And that's what we want. That's what we want. We want to be like the dolphin. So this is me. And I spend a lot of my time like this. It is a selfie, so that's why it's a bit fuzzy. What is going on here is exactly what you can see in that little speech bubble. I am saying to myself, I am here. I have become really good at comforting myself when things are uncomfortable. And that could be things like I'm really nervous and anxious about doing something new that I might stuff up. I comfort myself. It might be I'm really angry and I'm losing my cool with my kids. I comfort myself. It might be like on the weekend, my husband said something, it triggered me. I don't just let myself get bashed around in the ocean of all of that anymore. I used to. I used to be the queen of abandoning myself in my moment of need, but no more. I say to myself, I am here. I'm here. I can feel that you are upset, angry, anxious. I'm here. And it works. This stuff works. I've developed a few tools over the years, and one of the most powerful is a tool that I'm calling Unbreakable. Names at the moment, we're moving between from one to the other. But it is a coping tool to make your heart strong. So I believe that we are only breakable when we abandon ourselves, when we are in our heads and we are navigating on the outside world, on what people say, on what we should be, on how to fit in, then we are very much breakable. We are anxious, we are flighty, we are not connected within, and we are really fragile, really sensitive, really low thresholds to all kinds of things, to anger, to disappointment, to frustration. We are really tender. Whereas when we are able to comfort ourselves, and I've created a tool that is very specifically designed to activate the heart, to heal our abandonment wounds, to connect with just the right language to be most powerful. When we can use that in our moments of need, we become unbreakable, become really resilient, really strong, and free. Free as a bird. Free because we no longer have to control the shit out of our lives. We no longer have to avoid situations because they make us feel uncomfortable. We no longer have to make sure that everyone treats us just this way. Otherwise, they're going to upset us. We no longer have to fear feeling. We know what to do when we have feelings. We know what to do when we have emotions. We know how emotional triggers can actually be an opportunity to get to know ourselves even better. That is freedom. Everything is an opportunity. So I am here is a tool to connect deeply within and to be there for yourself. That's my little logo for it. And I am, hello again, I'm back. I am offering I Am Here as a package, as a tool that you can grab from my website, and I'm gonna paste the link just below this video. It's a tool that you can use and get to know. It includes a mantra, a guided meditation, a workbook, a graphic, and some video guidance. And it is really the tool to grab if you want to become unbreakable, if you want to become really emotionally resilient, strong, if you want to use even the smallest negative trigger as an opportunity to get closer to yourself so that you can be completely free and able to soar and play like a dolphin in life. So I would love to invite you to click on the link below and get yourself this incredible tool. This is the tool that, you know, I teach my clients and they pick it up. It's accessible to everybody. It's available, you know, whether you've had a really extensive spiritual journey or whether you're just starting out. Because it is something that you can say as a mantra over and over and over as a default, that actually has an impact on the heart, on the nervous system, on that state of coherence. And the feedback that I get from my clients is, wow, this really works. This is the thing I turn to in the middle of the night when I wake up and my mind is just going crazy and I can't get back to sleep. And then I remember the mantra and I say it to myself, and all of a sudden I am calm enough again. I find myself sleeping beautifully. They say this is the one tool that has saved them, has made the biggest change. So it is really powerful. It's been tried and tested, and I would love to hear what you think. So check it out in the link below. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been really wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or you just want to make some contact, just drop me an email, hi@NicoleMatheson.com, and I will be in touch. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.